this is Phil Lilley, Lilley's Landing Resort in Marina, Lake Taneycomo. Jackson and I are going to do one cast today. It is Wednesday the 4th of May. Sorry, Shane Bush is texting me. Oh, it's just about crappie. Got two floodgates going. We got 15,000 CFS running. We got a fair amount of rain today, but more importantly, Fayetteville, Beaver Lake got a lot more rain than we did, and we've been talking about this. Beaver Lake was real close to being to their flood pool level, which is 1,130 feet. And they have not registered 5 o'clock yet, but it's 1129.80. So it takes a little while for that rainwater to reach the lake. So we'll see what happens. It's just going to add more water to Table Rock. Table Rock is, I'm sorry, I should have looked at that. Table Rock's not in bad shape. It's 916.61, and the power pool for May 1st to June 1st is 916 to 917, so we're at power pool, which is what they call normal. But with the rain that we got, we're supposed to get rain tonight, tomorrow, most of the day, and this trend that we're seeing more rain down in Fayetteville, we're going to get all that water. It's not going to be held back like it has. So, yeah, 15,000 CFS, it's a lot of water. It's very manageable. We're still renting boats, it's no problem. There are people, I'm sure, that will have some issues getting out in this fast water, but fishing should be pretty good as long as you get your stuff on the bottom. We did have some guys go up in the creeks yesterday, down at Turkey Creek and Roar Creek, and they were catching trout. So that's where we normally send people when the lake gets high like this, is down in those creeks, because the creek water is going to be warmer than the lake, which is a positive. You know, like 10 degrees warmer. It's going to be in the 60s instead of 47. And those trout tend to like that warmer water, plus it gets them out of the current. Sometimes they really stack in there, and of course the boats stack in there too, but that's a place that we send a lot of people when the water gets high, so, and that's a good thing that they're finding trout in Rourke Creek and Turkey Creek. I don't think there's been any shad come through, but I always like to come up and throw a white jig first thing when they open the gates. Once they start running even more water over the top, it's a lot better chance of introducing some threadfin shad to the lake, and we start to see what we call the white bite. But I really thought I'd go on down to the creeks and try it today, but with the rain, I think the creeks might be a little bit dirty. Although we didn't get any hard rains, it tends to kind of, but those creeks our creeks are primarily hard rock, and generally they're very clear, so they clear up real fast. So that water should be good tomorrow, but again, I don't know how much rain we're going to get tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to stand down here for right now and just throw a few times. I've got the spot lock on. If they're not seeing any shad, they're probably not going to be going crazy over this white jig. but they're for sure not going to come all the way off the bottom and hit something that's only about 4 or 5 foot deep. And didn't think that would happen. I'll get this one down a little bit further and see what happens. It's cold. It's not out of the 50s today. That's why I'm all kind of bundled up. I saw where it's going to be in the 80s next week, in the mid to upper 80s, which is really going to be a shock. Yeah, let's kick this spot lock off. And sorry, Jack. I'm using 1/8 ounce white jig with red thread and 4-pound line. Let's roll this way. I gotta get up on the deck. Past Roland Duffield. He's down from Kansas City with his son David and brother Gary. Roland is a very good friend of mine, and he has been fishing down here since the 60s. And they're dragging scuds in the trophy area. Been doing pretty good. There's 3 of them in the boat, 2 of them had fish on when I went by them, and they were close to the narrows. Gotta really let that sink. You don't want it dragging. Looks like there's a guy over in number 2 outlet. He's wet waiting. Oh man, that water's got to be cold. That means he didn't have waders on. They're not going crazy for the white. I think I'm gonna probably switch. I can't really tell where the water I mean, there's not a lot of water coming over the floodgates. So it's not adding a lot of warm water or anything. I'm getting some foam on the water right here, so I guess I'm okay. Thought about pushing the other side. There are a few boats out here. I passed several coming up here. There's one other guy here. Well, he slowed down just enough to throw me a big wake. A lot better if you just blow by somebody and not throw a bigger wake. Oh, bottom. Okay, I'm kind of over the gravel bar below big or above big hole. Maybe I'll pick up something on this bar. Give it a little more action, see if that helps. Ooh, that might have been something. Well, I didn't bring any scuds, so I'm not going to do anything but throw jigs, so. It does seem like the harder the water runs, the better the scud bite is. And I'm just assuming, I know that the water gets to going, like if they bump it up to 20,000, you can hear the gravel underneath your boat moving, like rolling. That water is rolling the gravel. When that happens, it's got to dislodge a bunch of scuds. So those fish are just gorging themselves on scuds. So the scud bite gets really good when they kick that extra 5,000 CFS on. And it's just a matter of time when they do that. Table rock's got to get up to about 920, and they won't, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, anything the Corps does kind of is a guess. You try to go past what they've done in the past, and 920, that level, is usually the magic number when they kick on an extra 5,000. But they might kick it on before then, because they can look at the gauges in the major rivers coming in, Kings River, James River, Long Creek, those places where a lot of water runs into the lake, plus what they're getting from beaver, and they can see, okay, this much water is coming in. These rivers aren't going to crest until Saturday, so we know that Table Rock's going to jump up to probably 922 or 923, so let's go ahead and kick on that 20,000 and get ahead of it. As long as what they call the rain is on the ground, that's when they react. They don't react to forecasted rain. Say that they know if it rains 2 inches from now until tomorrow evening, it's going to add X amount of water to the system. They're not going to run that extra water before that rain falls. They're going to wait till it falls. And a lot of what they do is dictated by Congress. It takes the not the responsibility, but takes a lot of the guessing away from the operators. Although I'm sure they have some leeway. Well, they're not liking a white jig at all. So I'm gonna tie on a olive jig or something dark and go back up and do that again real quick. Excuse me, Jack. I haven't tied an orange and sculpin with a sculpin head. I might throw it here before I go back up. Tell you what I might do, instead of going back up, I might go on down and drift from the lookout down. There's a little bit of wind up here. But it might also do the heavy current and the rocks rolling. It's not going to roll any big rocks, but it might roll some rocks that dislodge some sculp and make them move a little more than normal. Fish are going to be attentive to that. But the key in anything is you got to get down towards the bottom. Unless you're throwing jerk baits, that's a whole different animal. Jerk baits, they work good in this hard water. I'll tell you something else that might work is, man, it's getting windy, is dragging little jerk baits on the bottom with a rig. We haven't tried that in a while. You can see the water levels up to the terrace at the boat ramp. One more cast and we're going down. There's a little eddy down here I'm going to throw in. Throw one more time in there. I did go crappie fishing yesterday afternoon. Went by myself, went to Beaver Creek, which is down on Bull Shoals. It's a creek that, well, that's really losing a lot of bank right there. Here, I'll turn the boat so you can see it. See, all that bank right there is all caved in. Ooh, there's a nice fish right there. I can see them. I got a tree below me. Let it move. I didn't make a good cast. Okay, let's go on down. Beaver Creek crappie, had the whole creek myself except one boat, and they left early. I found the crappie in 10 to 14 feet of water, a lot of brush, underwater, of course. Basically, it was up in a field that has been flooded. Bull shoals has come up, that far, and caught them about 3 to 4 foot deep. They were kind of suspended in the tops and around the brush, and I caught about 45 crappie, and I probably had 20 keepers, which is 10 inches on bull shoals, but I brought home 13. I threw back some 10 inchers that I didn't want to mess with. Had some real nice ones too. They all put a report on Ozark Anglers forum. They are all females. A lot of them still had their eggs, but some of them were half spawn and some of them had already spawned out. So water temp was 62. So it's about right. It's about time. Let's go on down. So I caught them Lilley jigs. 16th ounce with 4-pound line, just casting around the brush, and I did lose a lot of jigs. Okay, tennis courts are right here. I just noticed my battery is already down to 20%, so I'm just gonna probably fish until the battery goes dead. So there won't be a sign off probably. I'm not sure what's going on. I had 100% when I started. I'm gonna fish this inside. Where it's a little bit shallower. Cold enough, my nose is running. Might be running it, working a little bit fast. Let it sink a little more. Between the wind and the currents really pushing me away from this bank. Felt a little fishy. That was a fish. I'm setting the hook on every little bump. Should have brought scuds. Well, does seem like it's either feast or famine on these jigs lately. Might have been a fish. One more cast. I'm right at the top of the narrows. Say, a lot of times when I say one more cast, I catch a fish. Or last cast. Not always. I did start working it really slow. Oh my gosh. He's pretty. Lots and lots of spots, even on his belly. Well, you know, I can't stop. If I catch a fish on the last cast, I get at least one more cast. I just missed one. That was good. That was. Huh. Just missed him. Mm-hmm. Comes my wind back. Okay, I'm done. All right, one fish. It'll get better. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.